Not Worth the Time with Wade Taylor. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Not Worth the Time. We're here. We're doing it. It's been another fantastic 2 weeks. My golly, guys, I hope you guys had such a good time this last couple of weeks. I hope there's been nothing but prosperity in your life. I'm trying to project that positivity into the universe that everybody tells me I'm lacking in. And here we are, okay? You know, I should rename the show because Not Worth the Time makes me seem like I have less self-confidence in the stuff I put out. Or is it an ironic twist in trying to reverse psychology people into watching this show? Not worth the time. I'll be the fucking judge of that. This could be, in fact, well worth my time. It is well worth your time, and thank you for spending it with me. I'm your host, Wade Taylor. I've never actually started a show by saying that. So welcome to the show, everybody. I hope you've had a great last couple of weeks, you know? Yeah, I hope you've used reverse psychology like I have on this show to try to get people into the things you're trying to. Yeah. I went back to Council Bluffs and I deployed some mind warfare myself this past weekend. Yes, I went back to my hometown, hung out there. It was a good time. It's always fun to go back and see all of my childhood friends and visit with them and their spouses and just catch up. It's a great time. See the family, see my brother. It's always fun. It's nice to go back to where you came from and get in touch with your roots. That root system is just wired into me, dude. It's entangled me, dude. You go back to the old Council Bluffs and you can just feel those copper stripped roots digging into your bones. Yeah, it's a good time. It was a very good time. Shout out to all my friends. Shout out to the Ludwigs. Shout out to the Zukas. Shout out to the Sasses for letting me come and bother you and slowly probably corrupt your children with my ridiculous hot takes as an uncle. Being an uncle and using uncle children strategies is the funniest thing to me. I love it. And that's what I was referring to earlier as I used some mind tactics on children this past week. It was so fun. I went over to my good friend Holland and Courtney's house, and their little son was just having a good time. I was roughhousing with him, body slamming him. That's the underrated thing about when you get to be an uncle is like roughhousing is totally on the table. They're in, you know, after they grow up a little bit, you know, to get to that 2-3 age, they're all about letting you roughhouse with them. And the parents don't care as much if you're doing like WWE moves on them because it wears them out. They're going to sleep good, okay? You hit them with a nice, just over-the-top Kurt Angle slam, dude. Those kids are laughing, having a good time, just bounce them off the couch. It's good. Wears them out. They're ready to go to sleep, okay? Then the parents get to have a couple beers, little nightcap as they talk some shit. That's good uncle behavior right there. Just hanging out and making sure that the kid's tired. And at one point, this is where I use some mind control, right? He's somehow heard the word berries got brought up. And he is a berry fanatic, apparently. He just always wants some blueberries, strawberries. The kid wants berries, okay? Bury him in some berries, and he's going to be the happiest boy on earth, okay? That's what he wanted. He wanted a sweet treat and wanted some blueberries. Problem is, it's 9:30 at night, okay? Can't be eating that late. Even children can't be eating that late. It's bad for you to eat past 6 probably. If you believe in the biometric clock of the sun, apparently us humans, if you eat past 6, you're going to fucking die earlier. If you believe science. But he heard the word berries and he was like, berries? His mom was like, no, you can't have berries, okay? You can have some milk. How about some milk? And he goes, berries. She's like, milk, berries. And then we were roughhousing, doing WWE wrestling moves, so I was just in a WWE mindset, and I just started going, milk, 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 milk. And then his dad joins me, milk, milk, milk. And then mom joins me, milk, milk. And we're all just chanting milk. Like we're at a WWE event, just holding up signs at Raw, just like, milk. And just getting into it. And of course, he just eventually, it's so catchy, the chant. He starts chanting with us, milk, 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 milk. And then, of course, he gets milk. Yeah, that's right. We got him to just join the hive mind, just like that. Mob thought just prevails. It always does. If you get a good, solid chant going, you can get into the minds of anybody. And we just manipulate him. He forgot all about berries just because of a cool milk chant. Milk, 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 milk. And he drank milk. And that's how you trick a 2-year-old into not wanting the thing they originally started. You just do chants. Because they can't resist the chant. Especially if you get the arm motion into it. That's the only arm motion they're good at, is the fist pump like that. So they're all about doing a fist pump and looking cool like it's supposed to be happening. So that's the dance move they know they can hit, is the fist bump. So if you can get that incorporated and get them chanting, boom, it's milk time. And then he had a glass of milk, and guess what? Went to bed. He got some wrestling moves. He did a wrestling chant. Got some milk, like Hulk Hogan would tell you. Drink your milk so you can get some strong bones, brother. And next thing you know, he was going to sleep. Little kids are just so funny, dude. It's so fun to see my friends having families and having these kids that have just like such different personalities, which is so dumb to say. You're like, wow, Wade, are you telling me each human being has a different personality and traits that makes them an individual? I sure as fuck am telling you that. It's just so fun. I went over and saw my buddy Dylan and Kelsey. Their little ones, or her little one, she's just a spitfire, and she's got faces, yo. Oh my God, she just gives you the stank look. She was unsure about me because I haven't, she hasn't hung out with me as much as the other kids have. So she's like, I don't know about you, and she kept giving me stink eyes, even though I brought her a nice little plushy strawberry as a nice little gift because I hadn't seen her in a while. She loved the strawberry, took the toy instantly. There was no hesitation about taking the toy. She loved that. But she wasn't sure about me, until I started playing the van with her. She had like a little push van that she was pushing around. She would push it towards me, and then I'd push it back to her, and she'd laugh, and then she pushed it back and forth. So we were doing that. So she eventually warmed up to me. She wasn't sure at first, though. Had to feel it out and see, like, what's this guy all about? Just giving me stank face. Seeing if I was phased by the stank face. Also, I think her seeing me catch a chicken showed me that I was worthy of the clan's approval. My buddies have chickens in their backyard, and one got loose, so we had to go literally chase a chicken around. And once I did that, I think she thought I was worthy of the clan's blessing. And then the other family, oh man, Dylan and Nina. Nina, I know you listen to the podcast. Your 3 children are so fun. They're so full of energy, so full of life. It's so fun. But I will say this. Your middle child, he's a hustler, okay? He wanted to show me his new toy that he had in the basement. And he had a mini pool table. Everybody as kids remembers this. So we all wanted the mini pool table. Mini pool table that was not only a pool table, but a ping pong table, air hockey table. Oh, just a heavenly sent toy that a lot of kids, they put the pool part of it, it just goes by the wayside. As a kid, you want the ping pong and the air hockey. The air hockey is like the golden ticket for most kids. Not this kid. This kid loves pool. I come downstairs and he's got it set up for pool, and he's just like, yeah, I got this pool table. Isn't this nice? I'm like, this is cool, bud. Yeah. And he's like, you want to play a game? Like, we could play like best out of 3. I'm like, okay, yeah, we could play pool. It's little mini pool. It's, and it's like the balls are real, but everything's tiny, built for his size, and it's great. So I'd be like, hey, I'll play some pool with you. And he's not that old. I'm just like, I'll just let him, I'll just let him win. I don't need to try. We'll just let him play a little bit and just let him win. And then we start playing. This kid's a pool shark. Nina, What are you teaching this kid? You take him to the bars so he can start hustling people, because that's what he needs to do. Kid's a natural. Okay, he was banking shots off the rail. He was banking the cue ball off the rails into balls and hitting. He was doing combo shots, for Christ's sake. Kid was hustling me. I was just like, I was missed my first few shots. Just like, man, what am I doing? And then all of a sudden, he's hitting angles. He's making side pocket shots, calling it out. He was beating me by like 3 balls at one point, and then I was like, well, fine, I'm gonna try now. I'm gonna fucking try now. So then I started playing, and then got tied, and I still lost. I scratched on the 8th ball. He straight up beat me. Like I don't even think if I would have tried on the shots I missed, he still would have beat me probably. Okay, he was a pool shark. I'm glad I didn't play for money. That's what I said to him too. I was like, I'm glad I'm not playing you for money. The kid just smiled at me. Just turned and looked at me. He's like, yeah. I think he's been hustling people in the basement. I guarantee you, he's had some friends come over, and if they played pool with him, he's had them put some Reese's cups on the line. Oh, why don't you put that payday bar from Halloween up on the table? Let's play for some payday. I'll tell you what. I'll put up my Sour Patch String Kids for your Sour Patch your Sour Patch watermelons. Okay, let's go tit for tat here. What are you putting up on the table? What candy we playing for? This kid's a hustler. And you know what? I gotta tell you, the Sass is, thank you. I'm actually so proud of you guys for doing that. You're teaching him some skills that are so much more prevalent, okay? Jobs come and go, okay? They come and go. They're always going to be a thing, right? You can get into one industry, become a guy who sits at his computer, works there for 15 years, and all of a sudden it's gone. And you don't have any skills to fall back on because all of a sudden the AI has replaced you. But not pool hustling, okay? You can always go to a bar, post up, and hustle some people over a game of pool, okay? I'm not saying that's the future. That's a good fallback plan. That's a good skill to have. Just go to a bar, shoot pool, make a couple $200 off some local saps. Okay, people are always gonna fall for that. People are always gonna have that competitive edge and that spirit that they're like, oh yeah, no, I'll play for money. I'm pretty good at pool, and then you'll get skunked. Okay, so I approve that parenting move. I don't know who's showing him that, or if he's just watching pool tutorial videos on YouTube, but it was nuts. He was way too good. At some point, he's going to outgrow that table, and you just got to get him a new actual table and let him cook. Just let the boy cook. So, God, it's fun. It's fun seeing all the kiddos and fun doing all that stuff. I always enjoy doing that. It's great. I was back all weekend, though. I had to do the reason I came back originally was I had to help my older brother Nathan move. If you haven't checked out our other show, Who Gives a F, that's the co-host of my other show, Who Gives a F, Nathan, and helped him move. And boy, do I hate moving. And so does he. Everybody hates moving. That's why he lived in the same apartment for 5 years. No, we're not moving. We don't want to do this shit. We don't want to do it. And the thing that always sucks about moving and what's always humbling about it is you forget just how exhausting it really is. Like, yeah, you think, oh, I'm going to be tired. My back's tired. None of that's tired. And that's probably because of my awesome workout routine. I'm just so fucking fit. But I've been slacking. Moving will show you where you've been slacking in your fitness routine. And where I found out I'm slacking is my goddamn calves. Going up, down, we went down 3 flights of stairs to move them out, and then up 1 to move them in. And boy howdy, I'm not ready for the Stairmaster, okay? I am not going to be fireman carrying anybody down any emergency exits in a tall story building right now because my calves are shot. All of that up and down, oh my God. I woke up and I thought my calves might snap into 2. Like, they were so tight this morning. I was like, if I move my ankle 1 degree the way it shouldn't, I'm going to hear I'm going to hear those tendons just go, baby. And I am I don't want any part of that. Okay? So apparently now I have to figure out how to work out my calves so I don't have that problem anymore. So, if you ever want to know, like, oh, where am I slacking in my fitness? Is my back hurt? Does my ribs? Do my abdomen? Like my biceps? Just go move somebody. You'll find out real quick which muscles are lacking. It's the ultimate test because it's practical. Oh yeah, you can. Oh, you can deadlift like 400 pounds. That's cool. Can you move a mini fridge? Can you take a mini fridge down 2 flights of stairs and then back up a similar set of stairs? That is truly a test of your fitness ability. You know, you can tell me all the live long day. Oh, I play basketball. I'll pick up basketball in the week. I'm pretty athletic. Are you athletic? Are you really? Are you really? Can you maneuver a queen size mattress by yourself down 2 flights of stairs? Can you? I don't know. I don't know if that really qualifies you as athletic. All I'm saying is moving will expose you. You know, a couch will will do you in on how fit you think you really are. So shout out to moving for exposing my calf game for being weak as fuck. But anyway, yeah, that was a fun weekend. I hope you guys had a good couple of weeks. I hope you guys have had some fun. I hope you've been doing a lot of cool stuff. Now I think it's time to just jump into what article I found this week. Now, I will say that was not a good transition. That's because there is no real good way to transition from what I was talking about to this. But I think this is a cool article. Or at least I think it might be based off of what I found here. I don't know. I don't even know what this is really going to entail. I just saw the headline and I was like, we're reading that today. And like I said, there was no good transition to this. So we're just going to hop into what I found which is 30 years after discovering remains, DNA could identify all of a serial killer's victims. Pretty wild, huh? 30. They're finally gonna solve all these cases, and why this is crazy is what they have here. So I read the first paragraph, and then I was like, okay, I want to know how they're gonna do this. So in Westfield, Indiana. Decades after an investigation unearthed thousands of human bones and bone fragments on a suspected Indiana serial killer's property, a renewed quest for played out in laboratories have solved a long-running mystery. Who were they? A new team is working to identify the unknown dead. Says the key to their success will be giving relatives of the men who's vanished between the mid-'80s and mid-'90s to provide samples of their own DNA. Yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you? If you thought maybe one of your loved ones died and they might have their remains, you'd probably want to do that. Also, why aren't they just going to 23andMe? I thought they were just selling that data. Isn't that how they caught the fucking what's-his-nuts, the Golden State Killer? It was because of 23andMe, you know? Some dickhead great niece spit in a tube, and now that guy didn't get away with all of his murders. I had some distant relative do a cheek swap, and now I'm in prison. Yeah, so why don't they just go to 23andMe and just do that whole data hub? Isn't it? Don't they have like 85% of the world's DNA? Because if you get one person's DNA, you already have so many, so you only needed you only needed so much. I don't know. Somebody broke this down math-wise one time. Some fucking nerd did DNA math and tried to tell us that they have 95 of the percent of the population's DNA somehow on file. Who knows if that's real? Those samples can be screened against DNA profiles scientists are extracting from the remains, which were started in 1996 on Herbert Bershman's Swandling suburbs in Indianapolis property. Wait, is that the guy who was a murderer? I gotta look this up now. Let's find out. Let's find out, shall we? Americans here. Jesus Christ. Look at this guy, guys. Look at it. Okay, what's his deal? Does he have a Wikipedia here? Here we go. Herb Bumpsy. 1947 to 1996. An American businessman suspected serial killer, resident of Indianapolis suburb Westfield, Indiana. Branham came under investigation for the murders of dozens of men in the early to mid 90s, most whom were last seen at a gay bar. It always happens at a gay bar with like the serial killers who kill men. It's wild. Police found the remains of 11 men, 8 identified on I don't even know how you say this. Brewmister's property. I'm just calling him Mr. B. B died by suicide after a warrant was issued for his arrest. Oh, that's, in my mind, that's an admission of guilt. I don't know how else you could feel about it. That's an admission of guilt if you kill yourself. He was later linked to a series of murders of at least 11 men among Interstate 70, which occurred in 1980 to the 1990s. Damn, that's wild. So they found that in the suburbs. The original investigation believed that at least 25 people were buried on Mr. B's property, 18 acres, Fox Hollow Farm Estate in Westfield. Based on the evidence, that includes 10,000 bones and bone fragments. Jesus Christ. 10,000 bones? That's... Okay, now we have to do math. Because I can't remember. How many bones are in the human body? 206. 206. Okay, I want... What's 10,000 divided by 206? That's 48 fucking people. Oh, fucking Christ, dude. That's wild. This guy had 48... well, I know it's bones and bone fragments, but still, that's 10,000 bones and bone fragments. That's 48 whole people if it's full bones. That's wild. As well as handcuffs and shotgun shells. Mr. B, a 49-year-old thrift store owner and a married father of 3, killed himself in Canada July 1996 before police could question him, taking with him many secrets, including the names of his presumed victims. Investigators believe that while his family was away on a trip, Mr. B, who frequented gay bars in Indianapolis, lured men to his home where he killed and buried them. In the late 90s, authorities identified 8 men whose dental records and available DNA technology, but those efforts stopped, although remains of at least 17 people may still have been unidentified. Hamilton County Coroner Jeff Jesselson said the renewed identification effort reveals that the county officials at the time decided not to fund additional DNA testing, which essentially halted further efforts to identify victims and place the cost of the homicide investigation on the family members of the missing people. That's fucking bullshit. This guy is potentially a serial killer. You get 8 bodies, you know there's more, and you just say, well, we're not going to do any more investigation. You mean the people who pay taxes and the money that is literally allocated for these kind of investigations you're not going to spend? What are you spending it on then? What else could you possibly be using it on? I get that there's other investigations and shit going on, but that's wild to me that that's what they decided to do. Like, they're just like, no, we're done testing now. All these people who potentially have their loved ones murdered, they're just never going to know. Fuck you. Fuck you. How about you fucking, do a GoFundMe then, okay? At least do a cop pancake breakfast thing and raise the money for him or something. Jesus Christ. Oh, no, you got to float the bill in order to find out if this is your loved one or not. Fuck, that's bullshit. Anyway, an unfinished job. As decades slip by, the bones and fragments sat in boxes at the University of Indianapolis Humans Identification Center. There's just a Human Identification Center? That's a ominous and weird thing. Whose staff helped extract the remains, I guess. I don't know. That changed after Eric Pencer sent Jesselson a Facebook message in 2022 that the Indianapolis man's family had long believed his older cousin, Alan Livingston, was among Mr. B's victims. Livingston was a 27-year-old who vanished in 1993 after getting into someone else's car in downtown Indianapolis. After hearing about Mr. B 3 years later, his mother, Sharon Livingston, and other relatives began to suspect that Alan who was bisexual, was among those dead. Jesselson was about to take office when Ranger asked if he could help get some answers for his aunt, and who had serious health problems. How do you say no to that? That's our job as coroners by statute to identify the deceased, Jocelyn said. In late 2022, police took DNA samples from Sharon Livingston and one of her daughters. Jesselson began working with his team to include the Indiana State Police, the FBI, and the Human Identification Center, local law enforcement, and private companies that specialize in forensic genetic genealogy. Okay. The family finds some closure. Staff at the Human Identification Center, where the remains are stored in a temperature and humidity controlled space, selected some of the most promising bones for analysis. At the Indiana State Police laboratory, scientists cut into sections of the bone, froze them into liquid nitrogen, and then they pluralized them into fine powder. Pulverized them into fine powder. They use heat and chemicals to break down the bone cells in the first step towards extracting a full DNA profile. Nearly a year after hearing from Pranger, sorry, is how you say his name, Pranger, Jocelyn announced in October of 2033 that ninth Mr. B victim had been identified as Alan Livingston. Sharon Livingston finally received some form of closure. She died in November of 2024. It makes me happy to be able to do that for my aunt. Pranger, 34, said, "I am the one who got the ball rolling and bring her son home after 30 years and felt privileged. After Alan was identified, I was so excited, and then after the fact that I asked myself, now what? I got the answer, but what about all the other families?" Pranger added. Other victims. Jocelyn said about 40 DNA samples have been submitted by people who believe that missing males missing male relatives may have been killed by Mr. B, and said that those entered into the FBI Combined DNA Index system, but used solely for identifying missing people. The coroner and his partners hope to get more DNA samples from relatives of men from across the U.S. who vanished between the 1980s and mid-90s. They noted that men may have been traveling and stopped in Indianapolis to visit their friends and or a sample of its nightlife. I don't want to donate right now. Geez. Well, there's a lot more to this article, but we're running out of time. Guys, this has been very fascinating that they're able to do that kind of closure, though. It's very important, I think. And it seems like as technology keeps getting better, that's been happening more and more as people have been able to solve these mysteries and get these family members closure, at least in some capacity. I'm sure I have no idea what that's like, and I hope I never have to. I feel for those families, though. I hope everything's good, and I hope they're hope they're doing well. I hope whatever they have, and then I hope whatever news they got or any information they received is done well. It's rough. It can be scary out there, but it's good to see that there are people who are still out of the kindness of their hearts trying to help other people in that aspect. And that's where like the feel good of this story comes from. Is like that guy just got a random message on Facebook from some guy who thought maybe his cousin, right, was where this happened and how this happened to him. Because he reached out, shot a shot, they found out, they got the answers. And, that's really important, I think. It's hopeful, and it's nice to know that there are people out there who truly do care and want to do their profession for the reasons they actually got into the profession. Like, he clearly got into that and probably became a coroner because he wanted to help the police and help with those kinds of investigations. That's important. That's hard. It's a tough thing to do, I'm sure. I'm sure it's hell and not a fun job at all, but you do it because you want to help people. And he made sure he could try his best to help somebody, and that's great. And I think that's what we should take away from this. It's just we all need to go out there and try to help. If you have the ability to try to help somebody in some capacity with your skill set or whatever, just go out and help. It's good. And that's what like the community we need, and it helps bring people closer together, I think, if you just go out and help people in your community when you can and when it works. It's good stuff. With that being said, guys, this has been Not Worth the Time. And if you like this show, you want to go over to punandgame.com and check out all these other great shows like Who Gives a F and this show. And then we have a back catalog of a bunch of other great podcasts on the network. So thousands of hours at this point of content. So go over to punandgame.com and check that out. If you want to check out the video version of this podcast, you want to go to Comic Wade Taylor on YouTube. Comic Wade Taylor on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Welcome to all the people who have been subscribing lately. We have 210 subscribers now on the YouTube channel, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. That makes me super happy. I hope you guys are all enjoying the content and liking everything, so we really appreciate you guys joining. And then, guys, if you want to support the show, but you want to get something out of it as well as supporting, you want to hit the Punting Game shop. Punting Game shop, where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, mugs, all sorts of cool stuff to represent your favorite shows here at punandgame.com. So go to the Punting Game shop at punandgame.com, and don't forget to use promo code NWTPOD. That's NWTPOD, and that gets you free shipping at checkout, you guys. Well, guys, this has been Not Worth the Time. I'm Wade Taylor. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do.